Eala title bid in home open ended by Osorio in quarterfinals. Experienced Osorio breaks Filipino fans' hearts in straight sets win. Amid roaring cheers and groans, Eala bowed out in the quarterfinals of the Philippine Women's Open on Wednesday night. Ending the Filipinas' ambitious run in the first-ever WTA tournament in Manila, Colombia's Camila Osorio proved steadier in the big points to pull off a 6-4, 6-4 win over the higher-ranked Eala in an hour and 28 minutes. Reed giant killer Prozorova advances to semis versus Vekic. Seeded second, the 20-year-old Eala fought the lower-ranked, number 84, Colombian on even terms throughout. But her inability to hold serve and a couple of misjudgments allowed Osorio to win their first-ever career meeting. Amid pleas of "Let's go Alex" from the sellout crowd at the Rizal Memorial Tennis Center, Osorio surged ahead, 5-4, by breaking Eala for the fifth time in the second set, then ended the match with a cross-court passing shot that the Filipina netted. Sayang, hindi pumasa nayon sa level pero ang importante nandito ako sa Manila, sa Pilipinas, nandito ang WTA, said Eala, sticking to the positives as she addressed the crowd one last time on center court. After the match, Osorio paused to acknowledge the lively Filipino crowd, unfazed by their allegiance to the home favorite. "I love the energy. Even though it wasn't for me, I still love it," said the former world number 33 as she marched on to a semi-final face-off against Argentina's Solana Sierra on Friday. As for Eala, the trailblazing Filipino rising star is set to leave on Saturday to compete in her next tournament at the WTA 500 in Abu Dhabi. Get more of the latest sports news and updates on spin.ph. Notice on unauthorized and unlawful use, publication, and/or dissemination of spin.ph content. Please be notified that any unauthorized and unlawful use, publication, and/or dissemination of spin.ph's content and/or materials is a direct violation of its legal and exclusive rights to the same, and shall be subject to appropriate legal action/s. Home court, heart full. Eala and the quarterfinal that meant more. The crowd came early, as if arriving ahead of time could bend the day in their favor. Flags folded into laps, phones charged for memory, hope humming like static in the air. This was not just another match. This was Eala at home, a title bid stitched with the colors of belief, stepping onto a court that felt less like concrete and more like a shared heartbeat. Home tournaments do that. They turn players into mirrors. Every rally reflects a nation's wish to see itself in motion, brave, improving, unafraid to swing. For Eala, the week had been a quiet crescendo. Each win was a chapter, each practice a whispered promise that something special could happen if the lines were trusted and the ball listened. Across the net in the quarterfinals stood Camila Osorio, poised, experienced, carrying the calm of someone who knows how to survive storms. Tennis, at its sharpest, is a conversation between temperaments. Eala's game speaks in acceleration and angles, in the bravery of taking the ball early and believing that timing can be taught to obey. Osorio replies with patience, with depth, with the kind of defense that doesn't beg for applause but earns respect 1 point at a time. From the first ball, the match had the texture of a long walk uphill. Eala moved freely, her forehand flashing like a postcard from the future, but Osorio met it with answers. Soft hands here, a deep return there, asking Eala to prove it again. And again. And again. The crowd tried to help. They always do. Applause swelled after bold winners, sighs fell after narrow misses, and between points there was that peculiar hush that only exists when everyone wants the same thing at once. Home support is a double-edged gift. It lifts, but it also asks. It asks you to be more than yourself for 2 hours, to turn desire into discipline. There were moments, of course there were, when it felt like the day might tilt. A backhand down the line that kissed the paint. A hold of serve that came from grit rather than grace. A sprint to a drop shot that ended with a flicked pass and a roar. In those seconds, Eala looked exactly like a future champion learning the language of pressure. But Osorio kept the conversation grounded. She lengthened rallies, changed heights, waited for impatience to flicker. She did not rush the ending. She let the match reveal itself, point by point, until the margins grew thin and the burden of making something happen fell heavier on Eala's shoulders. This is where the quarterfinals live, not in the scoreboard, but in the space between intention and execution. Eala fought there, searching for clarity in the noise, for calm in the wanting. Some shots flew long by inches. Some returns caught the tape. Tennis can be cruel in its honesty. It doesn't care how loud the crowd is, only how true the swing feels in the instant it matters. When the final points arrived, they came without ceremony. A rally ended. Hands were shaken. The crowd stood anyway. Loss, at home, is not a small thing, but neither is the way it can be held. Eala acknowledged the stands, eyes bright, shoulders squared, as if to say, I felt this too. I'll carry it with me. And that is the part that lingers. A title bid ended in the quarterfinals can sound like a footnote, but it isn't. It's a marker. It says, this is the level now. This is the conversation you're in. The work between tournaments, on serve placement, on first step speed, on choosing patience when power is tempting, has a shape because of days like this. For the fans, the match was a reminder that growth doesn't always announce itself with trophies. Sometimes it shows up as belief that survives disappointment, as pride that outlasts a loss. For Eala, it was another step in a career built on crossing borders, geographic, technical, emotional, and learning which parts of herself travel best. Osorio walked off having done what seasoned competitors do. Absorb the moment, execute the plan, move on. Eala walked off with something harder to measure but just as valuable, proof that her game belongs on this stage, and that the gap between dreaming and doing is narrowing. Home courts remember. They remember the sound of first applause and the silence after the last point. They remember the way a player stood, win or lose. This one will remember a quarterfinal that didn't end in a title, but ended in resolve. The next time Eala steps onto that court, or any court, she will bring this match with her. Not as a burden, but as a blueprint. Because sometimes the most creative act in sport is not winning immediately, but learning, returning, and choosing to believe again.